So this reading is for Whitney, and this is a general past life reading. For this type of reading, I will actually be using 3 different decks. The first one that I'll be using is the Past Life Oracle deck. I've also got the Gilded Tarot deck and the Soul's Journeys Lessons cards. So for this particular spread, I'm actually pulling a reading on 3 different past lives. I've asked to get information on the 3 past life that has currently the most effect onto Whitney's life. We'll be pulling the past life as well as a life lesson card, see which lesson that she had to learn during that lifetime, and 2 tarot cards for each one of those, just going to pull out some more information. Now you notice I have a 4th life's lesson card pulled to verify what she is currently learning in this current life. So before I get started, I just would like to do a quick prayer. I call upon my angels and my guides to please provide me with a clear and accurate reading. May you be in communications with Whitney's angels and guides. I also call upon Archangel Michael to please surround this reading in white light so that may only the divine messages come through. So we're going to get started, and we're going to look at the first past life that has some effect on Whitney's current life. So the one we've got here is farm. So Whitney would have lived, you would have lived on a farm, and that can manifest itself in a few different ways. Maybe it's a nice strong love for animals, or maybe it's just, kind of the country and the open spaces kind of brings you a level of peace. You probably aren't afraid of hard work, and have kind of really strong work ethics, because as a farmer, things needed to be done. It was part of the survival, right? Now, the life lesson you were learning during that particular life was forgiveness, learning to forgive. Now, when our soul plans the life lessons that we need to learn and that we plan the map for our lives, we put major events on our path that would put us in a position where we would have to learn this lesson. So in this particular case, forgiveness means that you would have been put into situations where you would have need to learn to forgive. When we look at the tarot cards on this one, we get the Knight of Sword and Justice. Obviously, I think these makes a lot of sense. Now, the Knight of Sword in this case is probably talking about either you as an individual during this past life or the person that you had to forgive. When I talk about the royals in the tarot cards, most of the time it reflects on a person. The knight would kind of reflect somebody who's maybe more either in the adolescent age, or that has that kind of adolescent type of energy about them, or mentality. Now, the sword normally talks about logic and ideals. So for the Knight of Sword, we get someone who would be very opinionated. They'd be hasty. They would kind of take action really quick. They kind of do things, maybe not without thinking sometimes. Definitely action-oriented and communicative. So they wouldn't be the type of people that would kind of hold their tongue and hold back, right? Now, as we mentioned, because in this particular past life you were learning about forgiveness, the Justice card to me makes a lot of sense that comes out. Justice talks about things, fairness, truth, cause and effect, and law. So obviously in this past life something had happened with this young person, or with this person that was just very hasty, maybe a little rash, or just a little thoughtless, and there was some unfairness, kind of you were faced with a place where you felt justice had to be served, or that something happened, right? And this is where you would have been forced into learning about forgiveness. There would have been a conflict there. I don't know if you've, because a Justice card is in the upright position, I sense that justice was served. but the real lesson behind all of this was really to learn to forgive that person, and to kind of move on from that. Now, the next, how this may affect you now is because this forgiveness life lesson is probably something that you've learned in that lifetime. You're probably, when you're faced with, you probably don't hold a grudge. In this current lifetime, you're probably the kind of person who can find forgiveness in people, since it's this lesson that you've had learned. Now, the next life that we have is angels. Now, during your past life, there are periods of time where we live our lives. Once we die, we review the life. We review all of the things that we did in our lives, the actions that we did and how that affected people, whether it was positive or negative. And then we also take the time and plan for our next life, what lessons we're going to learn during that particular time, and the type of experience that we feel our soul should experience in order to learn those. So during this period of time, in between lives, because the angel card is coming up, is you probably really kind of played a role of guardian angel, I guess, watching over your loved ones. Because also during that time, well, let's see the other cards first. So your life lesson card on this one was change. And this card makes a lot of sense to me because you're planning your next life. There's going to be major changes coming along. Obviously, you're planning on what you're going to learn, with the life and the experiences you want to face. So it's definitely a period of change, learning to deal with that transition. Then the tarot cards that we got here is we have the Judgment reversed, as well as the Six of Wands reversed. Now, the Six of Wands reversed, what I like about this one, mostly explaining this one, is the Six of Wands in its regular meaning normally talks about kind of public victory. It's a very public affair. It's very out there. Now, to be supporting and playing the role of a guardian angel, it's very transparent. It's the type of good deed that goes unnoticed because people aren't realizing you're the one providing them with that. Now, for the Judgment card, I think this one really kind of has more to do. Well, Judgment card reversed kind of talks about self-doubt, refusal of self-examination. Maybe during that period where you're reviewing your past life, you were faced with some actions that you wish you wouldn't have done, or that you hadn't realized just the impact that it had on those people. And that's probably why you played that role of guardian angels. You felt you had some wrongs that you had to fix and to correct. So you would have spent some time bettering some of the actions that you may have done during the previous past life, and helping your loved ones that weren't in a situation where they needed to be, playing the role of a guardian angel. For the last past life that we're going to be doing a reading for here, you've got Celtic. So you would have lived a life in the Scottish or Ireland type of environment. And now I know I actually did this reading with you face to face already. I'm just doing the recording for you now so that you have it. And I know that you did mention that bagpipes for you had kind of a strong meaning, mostly because it was played at your grandfather's funeral, but possibly because that would already have had an attachment to you as well because of this particular life that you had there. Now, the life lesson you had to learn during this one was acceptance, learning to accept the things that you cannot change. The tarot cards that we got on this one was the Empress reverse and the Hermit reversed. So the Hermit reverse talks about isolation. feeling really alone, feeling secluded. The Empress reverse here, and those are two major arcanas in this life. And what I sense this one here is saying is that during this particular lifetime, you've lost a child. Um, Obviously, that type of experience is going to have a huge effect on your soul. The loss of a child is something that have huge repercussions. And based on our conversations that we're having, it sounds like you do have a fear of miscarriage. You do, and I mean, you're fairly young now. You haven't planned a family yet, but I sense that maybe you would be the type of mother that would be very, maybe a little bit overprotective, right? Maybe during your pregnancies, you would be kind of the type of woman to follow every every recommendations that you're getting from your doctors to the T. You know, like there's no deviating from this. This is like, we really have to do this exactly like it says, because you would have that fear or that worry a little bit of loss when it would come to your children, just because of this particular past life where you would have lost a child. Now we've pulled out another card too to see which lesson you're currently working on in this current life, and we have happiness come up. Just learning to find happiness and joy in your day-to-day life, and it's very funny because we did other readings throughout this weekend together, and the happiness makes a lot of sense for me, mostly when you got the sun as a you now card in the different readings. That card does say that you're the type of person who is very positive, very happy, and it would make sense that that is the life lesson you're working on towards here. Whitney, this was your reading on the general past life that you have. I hope you have a blessed day.